Hey all, welcome back to the start of the week, welcome to Monday, and welcome to Countdown Day here on the channel. And some time ago, a couple of fans suggested a countdown topic, that being the top 10 characters who could use an update. And I put it off for a long time because I really kind of didn't know how the voting would go for it. Finally, we came around to a point where I thought, you know what? I think it's time to ask that question because a lot of characters have kind of had like quintessential updates over the last couple of years where people have said this is perfection, we're not going to need another one. And there's a lot now that is being explored as we move into like Legacy and beyond, including other eras of Transformers. What happened with the actual voting is kind of shocking and astonishing to me because while some characters who have never been cast in plastic got votes, while some who certainly deserve to be on the list got votes to be on the list, there are others who got votes that surprised me, and there are even some on the list who got votes that surprised me. Anyway, we're going to look at how the votes shook out, how they played out. There were well over 1,000 this time. It was a popular topic. The top 10 Transformers who need an update. That's going to be our focus in this edition of GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And like I said, this is the top 10 Transformers who could use an update. According to fans, there were a lot of votes for this one. It was a very popular topic and a very interesting one. We're going to do the honorable mentions first. There were only two. The very first one is Lockdown. I get it, man. 100% there with Lockdown. Specifically the animated version of Lockdown. But a couple did mention other iterations. Yeah, I mean, I know we've had a couple of the movie ones and we had like Lockdown Studio Series, which I actually like. But like kind of that... most popularized version of Lockdown from animated, probably due for an update. And a lot of people hope that something from animated like Lockdown can happen in Legacy. And Monstructor. Now, to be fair, I have the Fans Project version of, I guess, Dino King. It was recolored as Monstructor, but it is a glaring omission for an official release. I mean, even Lio Kaiser got an official release. Not to say it was a good Lio Kaiser. That's why I did all the work that I did to make it good. But at least we got it. We have not gotten Monstructor, or Dino King for that matter, officially. I'm glad to have the Fans Project one, but I also understand that that is, something that is kind of out of the reach for a number of people. So those two are the honorable mentions, Lockdown and Monstructor. They did not make the list, so who did? Well, you know what we're going to do, man. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. And coming in at number 10 is Tidal Wave. Yeah, Tidal Wave. Now, I like this version of Tidal Wave. I'm fine with it. I'm not super connected to the character, so it's not a big deal for me. Plus, I like the Titans Return broadside mold. A lot of people didn't even get this version because it was part of like one of those 5 packs in Titans Return. And some people that even got it said, yeah, he should be bigger. Some people have said it should be a Titan class. I don't see it. I'm sorry. It's a big boat. It makes about as much sense in Titan class to me as having Predaking in there. He shouldn't have been. As having Devastator in there. He shouldn't have been. At the end of the day, they're not a base, they're not a city, and I know a lot of people will say, yeah, but this is an aircraft carrier, they're gigantic, and they are, but it's still not a city, so I don't see it quite in the same vein as the city bots. I do see it as large. I feel like a commander class would be the way to go for an update for Tidal Wave. I feel like that would make the most accurate sense putting it in the same sort of vein as, you know, the oversized ship that is Jetfire, the space shuttle that is Skylynx. Like, I feel like that would make the most sense for me. I'm not super invested in the character. This is good for me, but I also understand how a lot of people didn't get it and how it wouldn't fill the bill for someone who is a huge Tidal Wave fan. Tidal Wave, yeah, I can agree, probably due for a more accurate update, and he takes the number 10 slot. Number 9 I don't have a version of because, to my recollection and understanding, and I could be wrong here, this character has not been updated since their original release, at least not officially, though there have been third-party offerings, and it's this guy. Yeah, buddy, it's Thunderclash. How often have we gotten a mold where it's been suggested that could be redone as Thunderclash? Some people have even suggested the new Legacy Menasor. I think that's a little too stylized for Thunderclash. A lot of people said, you know, use the tooling and whatnot and kind of use the tooling and the skeleton and sort of redo the molding of like the Earthrise Optimus Prime mold or the Commander class Rodimus Prime. A lot of people have said that Thunderclash should be a Commander class. I can get that. Maybe even somehow rework the Leader class Ultra Magnus mold. Somehow I've heard that suggestion. I don't know if an existing mold reuse would work. Arguably an Optimus one, you know, arguably an Optimus one would probably possibly work. A lot of people said that the Voyager, like Battle Core Optimus from, what was that, Combiner Wars? Probably should have been redone as a trailerless version of Thunderclash. I could get behind that. Thunderclash, long overdue, cult fan following, probably deserves like his own release, and honestly, it would probably sell like hotcakes. Thunderclash takes the number 9 slot. Now, number 8 is one of the entries on the list that really kind of surprised me, and it's Whirl. We got the Generations Whirl. Actually, I skipped it initially, and then I found it thrifting for $3 after the fact, because I wasn't, like, again, I wasn't super connected to Whirl, but I regretted not getting it when it disappeared off shelves. And I was happy that I found it thrifting later on. The Generations Whirl is pretty great, honestly. I still really, really enjoy this, as weird as it is. There's even been a third-party offering, I want to say by MMC, but I could be wrong about that. That was more of like an IDW-ish Whirl. I feel like the people that voted for this are probably newer collectors who missed out on this and missed out on the third-party offering, and that's why they would like a version of Whirl. Has enough time passed for another iteration? Possibly, because this one came out, I want to say, around 2013, 2014. So, a decade or so later for this fun and interesting character. Yeah, Whirl, the weirdo that he is, might be due for an update. But if not, he's totally worth going back and getting this version of because it is fun, functional, and interesting. Either way you cut it, whether you're going to go back and try and get this one or you think he needs a whole new version of himself, Whirl takes the number 8 slot. Now, number 7 is the second entrant on the list that I don't have an iteration of because, again, other than some customs and maybe some third-party offerings at like a scale that would be too big for me, like an MP scale, maybe, I don't think this character has yet been updated since G1, but I have to feel like it's on the horizon, and it's this guy. Yeah, man, a sure shot. I mean, we have crosshairs, whether you think the Siege Ironhide mold works for him or not, we have a functional, suitable crosshairs that you can really replace the tires on if you want him to have the gigantic tires. We have up and coming, although I think it might even be out in some places, the Point Blank, and that leaves Sure Shot. I have to believe he's going to be coming probably in Legacy Evolution. We will see as time goes on, but undoubtedly we have the Decepticon kind of main trio of Target Masters and some of the other double Target Masters. It's only right we have the Autobot ones. Sure Shot, I agree, takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6 is This guy, well, sort of, technically, it's Deathsaurus. This is my current iteration of Deathsaurus with a bit of a customized head. It's not an ideal head because it really doesn't fit when transforming him into his weird, like, dragon mode thing. Naturally, this was the original torso core for Lio Kaiser, and it was named Deathsaurus, but we all know it's supposed to be Deathsaurus. A lot of people have said, look, with the Star Saber, Victory Saber, that is hopefully going to be shipping sometime soon from HasLab, as well as a Masterpiece Star Saber, we're really overdue for his arch nemesis being Deathsaurus. While there is a third-party offering of Deathsaurus that is fantastic, and I believe more MP scaled, something that fits in more with the main line, even if you want an official MP, not an unofficial MP, but an official MP, there's an argument to be made for that too. Some iteration, maybe more than one iteration, of Deathsaurus, long overdue, and he took the number 6 slot. And now, the hush falls over the crowd as we enter the most coveted of locations, the halfway mark. And at the halfway mark was one that really kind of surprised me, and it's this guy, Sandstorm. Triple Changer Sandstorm, G1 Sandstorm. I'm going to tell you now, the people that voted for Sandstorm said he should be more G1 accurate, he should be a helicopter. I get it, I understand where you're coming from, I totally get it. However, I am absolutely not hateful of the Generations. When I was going to skip it many years ago, really didn't remember the character, and Starscream Wife was the one who said, no, he looks really cool, you should have him. In fact, it was one of the earliest suggestions that she gave me for a Transformer to purchase, and I'm glad I did, because I'm going to tell you now, while you might do another version, you're not going to do a better version, right? It might be different, but it's not going to be better. It's kind of like the Siege Springer and the Generation Springer. The Generation Springer is one of the best molds that Transformers has ever done. The Siege one is okay. It's different, but it's not better. Some people would say it's not as good as the Generations. I would be interested to see this done and updated, but I'd be highly skeptical about me personally replacing it. If it looked more accurate though, I could see it being extremely popular. As voters indicated, Sandstorm, for right or wrong, took the number 5 slot. In an era such as the Transformers Legacy line, where we are introducing and re-exploring some of the Pretenders characters, number 4 seems very fitting as someone due for an update, and probably, possibly, on the horizon. In fact, he had a G1 release, he was updated once as a deluxe character, and kind of updated again slightly later around 2017. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Thunderwing. This is my custom Thunderwing using the Nitro Zeus mold, and the Titan Master head that I was saying was kind of an update. A proper Thunderwing has been long, I think overdue as one of the mega pretenders. And I get it. I totally understand it. The deluxe didn't fill the bill for some people, though it would have filled the bill for me had I gotten him. This head, it just so happened I had a Nitro Zeus and said, you know what? I think that could be kind of reworked to be an acceptable version of Thunderwing. And sure enough, many people have done the same thing. A custom is one thing. A deluxe is one thing. I'm sure that the people who voted are the same sort of people who would say that in the modern age, we should have pretender shells along with the inner robot. I'm going to tell you now, what Hasbro would charge for that and what that would cost would be ludicrous. And there's not enough people that would buy it to make it mainline attractive. You would have to basically have like a deluxe, you know, character. You're going to have a shell that would really have to be a Voyager. It's either going to be unarticulated, or you would have to make it large enough that you cram together a deluxe to fit in the body so that the body can still have articulated arms and legs. You'd be looking at $100 or more US for a shell and the inner bot. I don't think it's realistic. I do think an update is realistic, and I could see easily a Voyager, maybe even a leader class, for a mega pretender like Thunderwing. I don't know if I'd be in for it because I'm really happy with this custom, but I understand the popularity of the character and I understand the need for a proper full-on update. Thunderwing took the number 4 slot. Number 3 sticks with Pretenders and Bludgeon. Now, I was surprised that Bludgeon got the votes he did, especially to get this high on the list, because it's been confirmed that we're getting a Legacy Bludgeon, I believe at the Voyager scale, if I'm not mistaken. So, while I love this guy, and again, I got this guy for $3 at a thrift store, complete, the aesthetic is definitely unique. It is definitely more movie than kind of with the current main line. Is this bad? Absolutely not. Even with a new one. Would it be better than this? I don't know. Because as a tank, this is great. As a robot, this is great. He has, you know, great swords and a dagger. There's a lot here to like, even though the head sculpt leaves a little something to be desired. And some people did say, re-release this guy with a different head sculpt. And then some people said, why are you voting for this? We've had him as recently as Robots in Disguise 2015. There were a lot of strange arguments. A proper G1 Bludgeon, yeah, I get it. Again, I don't think I would support the notion of a separate Pretender shell, but an updated Bludgeon, a very popular character, I can't wait to see what they come up with. He made the list, even though I'm pretty sure that an update is close on the horizon for him. You can't argue with the voters. Number 3 was taken by Bludgeon. Now, number 2, the version I have, I absolutely adore, but I also understand that people love this character, and we haven't seen this character in a long time. In fact, we haven't seen very many versions of this character ever, and it's Lugnut. Now, some people have said, like a Commander class Lugnut. I don't know if I'd be in for a Commander class Lugnut. I don't think he was that big, but certainly a hefty leader class, like something around the size of a Studio Series Blackout Grindor. Like, I could see that sort of bulk and heft, and this is okay for sure. I love this. To me, this is a great version of Lugnut that fits in with kind of the main line. A lot of people specifically voted and said, we want a new version of animated Lugnut. I can get behind that too, honestly. I think that makes perfect sense. I don't have any problem with that. I love this one. I think the animated original one is cool. However, it was a long time ago, man, that this came out, and I can agree that for a character this popular, definitely due for some sort of a worthy update. Lugnut took the number 2 spot. And here we are at number 1, and number 1 shocked me. I never would have thought of this guy. I don't think I would have voted for this guy. He was separated by number 2 by 5 votes, so it was pretty close and fast and furious with the voting. There was a Generations release of this character in the Legends class scale, and there's even been a third-party offering that is probably more accurate to his animation model, and it's Gears. I was shocked that Gears took number 1. I love this version. I love the Generations version. It's functional. It looks like Gears. Granted, the head sculpt probably could be a bit better. Some people have said it's more swerve than it is Gears. I can see the argument for that. And though I'm an animation accurate guy, I guess I'm not quite as much of a stickler as some people. I like this guy, and I think he's good. Is he perfect? No, but I paid $7.99 for him. A lot of people that voted for him said, look, I miss this guy. I can't find the, I want to say it was Mech Fans Toys maybe version. I can't find that because it's sold out. And I would want him slightly bigger, animation accurate, and to match the size and aesthetic of the like War for Cybertron, Legacy, mini bots that have been done as deluxes. I don't know. I mean, I paid $7.99 for this. Right now, a deluxe here is $40. That's 4 times the price. Would it be better than this? Yeah, undoubtedly it would be better than this. I would be foolish to say anything different. Do I want to make that sort of investment? I don't know. But I do know this, that a lot of fans wish that he hadn't been scrapped in the Kingdom line and would like to see that design, that character revisited. I guess it says an awful lot about the popularity of this Grumpy Gus, and Gears took the number 1 slot. And there you have it, 10 down to 1, and here are some of the other votes. The Liege Maximo, yes, well overdue, I would love it. Windraiser, that one surprised me. Octane, I can kind of get that. Slugfest and Overkill, Jazz, Hotshot. Hotshot surprised me. I mean, we got the Generation Selects one. Now, granted, that was Cybertron Defense Hotshot, so maybe a regular Hotshot. Who else? Hosehead. I've heard that there's like ideas and a design and a mold that might exist for him. We'll see if it ever comes up. Gearhead, Bone Crusher, Punch, Counterpunch. I don't think so. I mean, the Dominus set or the one before that are pretty fantastic punches, counter punches. But, you know, what do I know? Goldbug. Somebody voted for Goldbug. Like, we literally just got Goldbug and Creatures Collide. So I don't know how that got a vote. Somebody voted for Bumblebee. I think it was a joke, though. Guzzle. And I assume that they would have liked all of the, what are they, Spark Bots, I think they're called. But, of course, you can only vote for one character, right? Primus. Trax, even though we just got a Trax, a lot of people didn't like that mold, so they'd like to have Trax immediately revisited. I kind of get that. Like, it's weird because we just had him updated, but like, I don't like the Kingdom Black Arachnia, and I would already like another one of that. Demolisher, yes, I agree with. Six Shot, Slam Dance. Who else got votes here? Scoop. Even though the Generations one is really fun. Really fun, but the target masters that came with him were a bit rough. RID Strongarm, yes. Striker from Beast Machines. Computron, I mean, I have the Combiner Wars one. I like the Combiner Wars one, so I'm cool with that. Grandis, Windcharger, that one sort of surprised me as well because the Legends one from Power of the Primes is pretty great, pretty darn great. Drift, maybe. I love the Generations one, but he's probably due for an update. Barrage, yes, absolutely. The Deluxe Insecticon Barrage. Armada Optimus Prime. G2 Defensor. Glyph. Armada Scavenger. Who else? Tigerhawk. X-Brun. Emarat Zarin. Nightbeat. Beast Wars Silverbolt. Scattershot. Grandfire Convoy, MP Rodimus Prime, Magnaboss, Armada Sideways, Prowl, G1 Ironhide. I mean, really? We have Earthrise. We also have the upcoming Studio Series 86. So I was a bit baffled by that vote. Unicron Trilogy Jolt, Straxus, who I think we might have up and coming at some point as a reuse of the Galvatron mold. Rhinox, that one sort of surprised me as well. RID Prowl, Hound, MP Sideswipe, and just for one more, I like this one, Backstreet. Everybody that voted for Backstreet were like, you know, nobody else is probably going to vote for him, but he got a few. He certainly got a handful, just not enough to rank. Them and so many more. It was a very interesting round of voting, to say the least. Soundwave got a bunch of votes. G1 Soundwave, like, we had him in Siege. We had him in Netflix, where we have him again in Legacy. We even had the Legends version. In Titans Return, we had the Leader Class version. I don't know, man. I don't know if we need another G1 Soundwave. And funny enough, one of the people that voted for Soundwave said, a G1 Soundwave, but more mobile. That would be called the Fall of Cybertron Voyager class. That's the one that's going to be the closest to a G1 style Soundwave, I think, that has a mobile alt mode. There you go. Yeah, I mean, we've gone from 10 down to 1, a whole bunch in between and at the end and all over the map. It was fun. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.